One of the most common things we hear is that people want to nurture their professional connections, but they simply forget. That's why when you onboard onto PeopleWork, you'll notice that the system has a policy that every person you're connected to in the app needs to have a plan. This is because intention is the very foundation of PeopleWork. When you follow an intentional plan for a professional relationship, you start to deepen the connection and you see better outcomes. In PeopleWork, there are two different types of plans that you can make: events and commitments. Events are just like they sound. They're interactions that you schedule, meetings, check-ins, one-on-ones, things like that. Commitments are promises, things that you or others have agreed to do. So let's go to the app and create some events first. You can see here in my workspace that I've created two contacts, Michael Hedgepeth and Tara Johnson, down here. And in my today plan, I need to create a plan for both of them. I also need to create a plan for myself. Let's create a plan for myself first. I'm going to go here to my task, and let's say I want to track my weekly planning that I do every Sunday night. So I'm going to add that as an event. I'm going to schedule event, and I'm going to say weekly planning. And I'm going to do that on Sunday night. And it's not going to be multiple days. I'm going to do it once, but it is going to repeat weekly. And I'm going to save it. So now when Sunday rolls around, I can be reminded to journal that event. Let's say I don't have a recurring meeting on the calendar with Michael, but I want to have a coffee with him to see where things stand with a certain project that we're working on. I'm going to put a one-time event in the app for Michael. So I'm going to schedule an event. I'm going to say coffee chat, and I'm going to plan it for next Wednesday. And it's a one-time event. It's not going to repeat, and I'm going to save it. That means that once that one-time event is finished, I'll need to create another plan. Sometimes I want to be reminded to touch base with someone that's remote in another time zone, perhaps, and the back and forth interaction might even span several days. So how would I track that? Well, let's go to the task for Tara and add an event. I'm going to schedule that event. I'm going to call it DM check-in because I'm going to direct message her on Slack. And I'm going to try to do that on Monday. And I foresee that it's going to take multiple days because Tara, let's say, is in Europe, and it might take several interactions to complete a conversation. So let's say that my goal is for that to finish by Wednesday. I'm then going to save that. And whenever I go to Tara, I can journal that over the span of several days. And in the follow-up video, I'll teach you all about journaling. That's how we would create different types of events. So now let me show you how you would track different commitments. Let's say that during my coffee meeting with Michael, I told him that I would give him feedback on his proposal by the end of the week. I can enter that commitment that I made to him into the system so that it doesn't fall through the cracks. I'll go to Michael and I will click the commitment icon right there, and I will say, give feedback about proposal. And that is my commitment to him. And I'm going to do this on, let's say it's going to take me a couple of weeks to read it and formulate an opinion. And so my deadline for myself is to do that by the 20th. And it's not going to take multiple days. I'm going to do it once, and I want to remember to do it then and save. So now I've got this here to remind me, and I won't forget. What about when someone makes a commitment to me that I don't want to forget about? Let's say that Tara told me that she would introduce me to an important lead, but she needs a couple of weeks because perhaps she's on vacation. I'm going to go to Tara's contact, and I'm going to enter in another commitment here, and I'm going to say, introduce me to Michelle. And the owner of this commitment is Tara, so that is their commitment. I'm going to give Tara a couple weeks, so I'm going to say the 27th, and this is just a one-day thing. and I'm going to save. So now I can check back in with Tara if she somehow forgets. In the same way that you make commitments to and from people, you can also make a commitment to a group that you want to be held accountable to. Let's say that I promise my partner group that I'll get an approval for an offsite for next quarter. I'm going to head over here to my partner group. I'm going to make a commitment to the entire group, and I will say get offsite approval. You can see that there's no owner of the commitment in this form. That's because by default, the user, which is me, is the owner of the commitment for an entire group. I'm going to, just like we did before, say that I'm going to get an approval by November 10th. It's not going to be multiple days, and I'm going to save. And that's it. You now know how to turn good intentions into actual plans. So feel free to drop a comment or a question and subscribe to see how you can track all of this in your journal workflow in the next video.